Welcome to Getting Sketchy Live, brought to you by the virtualinstructor.com. And now, let's get sketchy.
Hello there, everyone. Matt here with the virtualinstructor.com, and welcome to Gettin Sketchy Live, the greatest live broadcast in all of YouTube. I'd like to welcome all of you who are watching this live, and also those of you who are watching the recorded version of this, which will be available as soon as we're done with the live. But I want to thank you all for watching tonight. What we do here on Getting Sketchy is one of us, either myself or Ashley, who's sitting right over there, we try to create a drawing for you inside of 45 minutes. We have a timer and everything. And we also try to sprinkle in a little bit of an instruction in there while trying to keep this show pretty fun and loose. That's why we call it Getting Sketchy. And I mentioned Ashley sitting right over there. How you doing this evening, Ashley?
I'm doing pretty well, Matt. I think. I'm not sure how I'm lining up in the frame right now. Oh, goodness.
You're a little high. You're riding a little high. There we go.
That better? All right. So, sorry, folks. Moved my chair before we went live, so I'm glad to completely be with you now. Excited about my first drawing of the season. Like Matt, I'm going to draw in Graphite, and I do have a person, but it's not a, Matt really drew two bodies last week, a person and a horse. I'm zooming in a little bit to a face, but I thought I would stick with Graphite this week because I like to get into a Getting Sketchy season like I like to get into the pool. There's two ways to get into the pool. You can just jump in, or you can get in nice and easy. And I think Graphite is nice and easy. So we'll start with Graphite and kind of build from there this season.
Sounds pretty good. If you're watching this live, there's a chat box. Of course, you can post comments and questions. If you do have a comment or question that's specifically addressed to Ashley or I, we ask that you use the super chat function, which of course helps out our channel. It does cost a little bit of money, but it also makes your comment or question prominently displayed. I'll be watching the chat box tonight, and I'll be addressing everything that you say there. But using the super chat function is definitely the way to go. Also, if you are new to the channel or if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell so you're notified when we go live and when I post videos on YouTube, like I do quite a bit. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you like this video, make sure that you like it as well. And if you want to take your drawing and painting skills to the next level, you got to check out the membership program over at the virtualinstructor.com. Guys, if you have not checked out our program over there, you are missing out. And we offer a free trial for a week. And then the subscription fees are really, really low for what you get. And what do you get? You get tons of courses on pretty much every subject matter and media that you can imagine. And we also do weekly live lessons. In fact, after tonight's broadcast, we're going to be going live for members like we do every week. We're going to be finishing up our series tonight on combining line and wash, or actually combining pen and ink with watercolor. All of those lessons are recorded and stored in our vault. You can go back and watch any of the live lessons we've ever done. We do weekly critiques as part of the Members Minute. And if you're an art teacher, we have a year-long curriculum for visual arts teachers, which includes absolutely everything that you would need to teach for the entire year. All of that is included as part of the membership program, and we're constantly adding new content to the program as well. If you want to check out the membership program, there's a link in the description below. And if you want to just check out 3 of our course videos and ebooks for free, you can do that too. I'll leave a link below for that. That will put you on our mailing list as well, and I'll send you a lot of free art lessons if you're on our list. So you can check those things out in the description below this video. And if you're looking for the photo reference, we're going to talk about the photo reference. I can see there's comments popping up about the photo reference. You can find the photo reference on the YouTube channel, on the Virtual Instructor YouTube channel. To get to that, click on the little icon of my face in the lower left-hand corner, and then click on the Community tab. And you'll see that the top post has the photo reference for you there, and that's where we always post them. So I post those the day of the live broadcast, usually many hours before we go live. So if you're ever thinking about that in the future, where do I get the photo reference? Just go to the Community tab and you'll find it there. Now, next week we have a Gettin Sketchy scheduled, but we're going to move it to the following week. So we won't have Getting Sketchy next week or the live lesson, because here in the US, we're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving, and I won't be around here next week. So I will be visiting family, of course, for Thanksgiving. And if you're here in the United States, of course, we wish you all the very best and happiest Thanksgiving, of course. All right. I think is that it?
I think that's everything that needs to be said before we take a look at our materials.
I see Ashley moved his chair again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get back into this one.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and switch over.
There we go. At least everything on the screen is where it's supposed to be now. So sorry, this chair has hydraulics and I just love pumping it up. All right, so we're going to be working in a square tonight. You can see our reference there on the left, and my square is 5 inches by 5 inches. So it's not crazy big, but it's big enough, I think, for our purposes working with graphite tonight. I do have an HB pencil and a 4B pencil, which is notably darker, and then just sort of a pencil eraser or a stick eraser. Also the pink eraser, and I have Matt's kneaded eraser because I left my kneaded eraser at home. So I've got 3 erasers, 2 pencils, and I think that should do it. The electric eraser is close by, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or need it. I'll probably be able to do the erasing that we need in smaller areas with this guy right here. All right, I want to talk about the reference a little bit before we begin. So I went ahead and printed a copy, and this is it. Sorry about the color. It's kind of bluish.
He seems sad.
Yeah, he is sad. He is sad. And I hope that translates in our drawing. So one thing that I'm going to be doing tonight is I've got some little reference marks around this reference. They could be connected together to form a grid, but I haven't connected them together. I'm just going to be kind of eyeballing it a little bit. And I've got similar marks around my paper. Now, in the future, if I am to use marks this way, I think I'm going to go ahead and digitally put them just inside of the edge of the image window. And that way we can all see them. But I just wanted to share with you something that I plan to use to help me lay out my portrait. And then I'll also be looking at how parts line up. You'll notice that this man's eyes are tilted a little bit. But interestingly, his mouth is not very tilted, and that's unusual. Usually there's a tilt to all of our features as we move down. So I've noticed that the eye here on our left, the very top of it, if we were to draw straight across, it would bisect the eye on the right through the middle. Something else that I noticed that's a little bit unusual, unless a person has their head tilted, is that the sort of the innermost part of the nose, where the eye meets the nose, if we were to pull a string straight down from there, we can see that that part of the nose stays to the outside or to the left of our bottom lip. So those are just going to be a couple of checkpoints that I look for while I'm drawing. It's important while we work on features not to lose sight of other features and the alignment between them. Now, here's another one. We've got this the nostril here, the one we can see on our right. It is just directly below or maybe slightly to the inside of the tear duct on the eye on our right. So these are hard edges. These are little points that we can reference and check in our own drawing and compare it to our reference photo while we work.
And when you're creating a drawing, I know I do this. I'm continually making comparisons between the information that I have on the paper and relationships that I see in the reference.
Right,
so
relationships, that's good.
This is a good way to create a drawing. You start in an area where you feel confident that you can get the initial shapes in place. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you can use those initial shapes to make comparisons with the other information on the
and just
in the reference.
Kind of work out from where you start.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very good. All right, that's all I had to share about the reference and the material. So I guess it's time to get started, Matt.
All right. Are you ready for the timer?
Oh, no.
You're not ready
but
for the
it's
timer.
coming.
All right,
let's go ahead.
So do you want me to start the timer or
yes,
not?
Please.
You're being unclear. All right. Here comes the timer. 45 minutes. Let's go.
All right. Here we go.
And just to clarify, the reason why I said I thought that guy was sad is because Ashley's printout is bluish. It's not because of his facial expression.
He's blue.
It's just because he's blue.
Yeah.
He was blue, not in the reference you're seeing.
We do have this really big negative shape, Matt, to the left of our figure. And so I thought I would start just trying to figure out that shape there. So we're going to work from the bottom to the top and top to the bottom and see if we can find this shape.
And negative shapes and positive shapes have a relationship with one another. And negative doesn't mean bad. It just means that negative shapes or negative spaces are usually the areas around the subject or subjects within the picture plane. And they form shapes too. And Ashley's using that shape to decide where the edges or outer contours of the face are located.
Okay.
And I
got a toboggan on here.
And I didn't say this at the beginning, but hello to everyone from around the world. I see that we've got people from all over the place. Spain, the French Alps. I'm going to go back up in here. West Virginia. A couple people from West Virginia, Florida, South Africa, New York City, Michigan, Arizona, Ohio, Toronto, the UK, Norway, Australia, Clemens, North Carolina, Vietnam, Grand Rapids, Michigan, New Jersey, Missouri, Atlanta, Chicago, and Minnesota, and also another from Cornwall, UK. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for telling us where you are from.
Yeah, for sure. All right, working our way around our jaw, just kind of separating our face from our clothes right now still.
Buddy says, would negative drawing always be a good idea to start a portrait? Never tried that out. There's so many different ways that you can start a drawing, and it doesn't really matter which way you start, just as long as that you're ensuring some accuracy in your drawing. So
yeah, that's right.
Ashley is starting this way. Ashley really likes to see negative shapes and really likes to pay attention to negative shapes. So I think this is the way that he feels most comfortable. If I was to do this drawing, I wouldn't have started with the negative shapes. I would have started with the shape of the head and probably drew some loose lines and broken the head down into simplified shapes. And we would probably both arrive at an image that is recognizable to the subject. So it doesn't really matter how you start the drawing, just as long as you're comfortable with it and you have a plan for how you're going to get the rest of the information on the surface. Some people might want to do this using the grid technique. So there's lots of different ways to start a drawing, and this is just one way Ashley is creating this drawing. It's good to see lots of different methods.
I like to say it's not how you start, but how you finish, right? Maybe
that's what they say about golf.
Not drawing.
I think I think those beginning stages of a drawing are important. And you have to really pay attention to what you're doing, because if you're really striving for accuracy, and accuracy is the most important part of the drawing, like for this portrait drawing, accuracy is incredibly important, because you want to create the likeness of this person. And if you're off in these beginning stages and you don't catch your mistake, then you could get too far into the drawing.
That's true.
Before you have to really do a lot of changing.
Yeah, we could draw for 10 minutes and then have to erase that, because we're in the wrong place. All right, I've had a blowout. I've dropped my HB pencil. It's okay. I've got another. So thankfully, I packed a spare.
Because everything that falls off the table in here just drops into an abyss.
It's gone.
It does not exist anymore. You know, I could just walk over there and pick it up off the floor.
Oh, it's okay.
In case you drop that one too.
All right. Now I've got part of the nose and the eye, the area that I had talked about maybe using to compare to some of our other features. So I'm going to continue to work off of those two and do that very thing. So up from our nostril, across from our eye on the left, and hopefully that'll help me get this this eye on our right in about the right place. A little bit big. Tendency sometimes to overdraw in terms of scale. All right. There's a lot of texture in this artwork because of the man's beard and his mustache. So we're going to be mostly focusing on the values that we see, and maybe just try to capture the feeling of texture with some mark making. But
Now, we're talking about the beginning stages of a portrait, and I want to point out the space between the end of your nose and the edge of the face and the distance in the reference.
Yeah. This right here?
Yes.
Yeah, his nose is more bulbous than this, I believe. We're going to have to bring that over some.
Or you could bring the side of the face down.
Yeah, one of the two.
One or the other.
And probably both. A lot of times it's a combination of both.
And we have the luxury, I'm talking about me and all of you watching this video, of continually comparing what Marks Ashley puts down and what is in the reference. Where when you're actually drawing yourself, your eyes are going back and forth between your reference or your subject and the drawing paper. And that leaves a lot of room for things to be a little bit different on your drawing surface. And I want to point out that is perfectly okay and acceptable. Your drawing is going to be a little bit different from your reference. I used to say that no one here is named Kodak, but that people don't really know what Kodak is anymore. So you have to come up with another name for a camera. No one here is called Xerox. That's
go.
Another one that people probably don't know.
You need to think of a company that started in like the last 8 years. Yeah. All right, the edge of the mustache is pretty much just a little bit outside of our right eye. Comes down. So we can maybe use that to help us a little bit. And start to get into our final feature, our mouth.
Already is
just
looking
continuing
great.
To slot our contours around. Thanks. And I'm using some irregular lines around these contours on the lower face just because of the beard. Trying to capture that feeling a little bit.
This guy has a particularly long chin. The distance from the bottom of the lip,
he's got a big jaw,
all the way down to the chin. That is a big
he's like
distance.
He looks like Paul Newman there. He's got the big jaw. Paul Newman always had a massive lower face. We found Paul Newman. It's been
and somewhere other than on a salad dressing.
All right, let's see. That already started to indicate about where this eyebrow is. There's some stray marks on the outside of our facial contour, and the other eyebrow looks like it starts above the left center of our nostril, one that we can actually see.
Keith says nobody here is named Samsung, and there might be somebody watching this named Samsung. Maybe his name is Samuel Sung. Charles says, why do you think the longer you look at the piece you're working on, the harder it is to see it? I'm not sure if I totally agree with that.
But I think I know what he means.
I think I know what you mean too. Yeah. I think it's important to take breaks and to step back and look at your artwork and analyze and do what I was doing in the early part of this drawing. Make comparisons between the marks and what you see in your reference. So it's always a good idea to do that, to take breaks, to step back and analyze. That's when you're concentrating on what you're doing and you're concentrating on the marks, you go back and forth, it's easy to miss stuff. But when you step back and take a look at things, you see things that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. So I do think that you need to take breaks in your own artwork. Now, here on the show, we're creating a drawing inside of 45 minutes. We're going up against a timer. This is a little bit of a different situation. We don't really have the luxury to sit back and, take 5 or 10 minutes to look at the artwork.
No.
But you do. When you're creating your own artwork, take that time. Those times are important because you really do see and notice things.
All right, just starting to do a little bit, just wading into the shading, just like the rest of the season here.
You've got such great information there on the surface.
Thank you.
I mean, it seems very accurate.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
And, you know, I told Matt I'm going to try to draw early and shade early. So that's why I'm already starting to indicate some of our values.
Another good thing to do that if you're, taking breaks and looking at your artwork is to take your artwork out of the environment that it's in. Like if you're working on an easel or if you're working on a table or something like that, move it to a different room, put it on the wall, step back and look at it. Look at it in different types of lighting. And just that sometimes doing that will also help you see things that need to be changed or verify what you've already got on the surface. Yeah, Charles says looking in the mirror sometimes helps. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
looking in a
sure.
mirror will help you see compositional issues as well. If your piece is working, looking at it without looking at it in a mirror and looking in a mirror, then you've probably got a pretty strong composition.
Probably working.
Another thing to do is to rotate your art.
I do that on my phone now.
Oh yeah, you
It's
rotate
like,
it?
yeah, it's like stepping back from your art when you take a picture of it because it shrinks it down.
Yeah.
And then you can flip it around. So I like to use my phone sometimes. The same way we used to use a mirror or turning it upside down. That's a great tip, great trick.
And if you can kind of think, this is a representational subject, but if you can kind of think of it as an abstract piece when you rotate it, and if it works at every angle compositionally, as far as balance between positive and negative space and lights and darks, then you're on the right track.
I'm doing some side pencil shading right now. Just in the really, really dark areas. Some of these, I don't want to be too detailed outside of the face, but we can't just entirely ignore all that. So
Using the side of your pencil for that.
yeah, doing a little side pencil shading. There we go. And under our zipper, pretty dark areas. All right, and we do have darken this fellow's neck.
So you're still thinking about shape here when you're adding these darker.
Definitely looking at the shadows as shapes right now. Yes. All right. And all of this business up here.
Enrique says, "Hi Matt, can a drawing beginner use a proportional divider in portraits?" I've heard a lot about proportional dividers. I've never used one myself. You can use any technique that you want. You can use any tool that you want to arrive at a successful drawing or painting. There are, a lot of people, for some reason, when it comes to art, they almost think of it as like a sport. In sports, you can cheat to win. I'm not advising cheating, but that's a possibility. And a lot of people think that if you do things a certain way, you are somehow cheating in art. And that's not the case at all. You need to use anything that you want or anything that you can in order to arrive at a successful piece of art. Some people will argue that the process of creating the art is more important than the actual artifact that's created. But I think that that's important when you are learning or teaching art. But when you are producing professional pieces of art, then the process is less important and what you arrive at is more important.
It's your product.
Right, it's your product. So while you're learning, you need to learn observational drawing and practice that as much as possible. But if you're creating a finished piece of art, even if you're a beginner, then use any process that works for you or any tool that works for you. There are lots of different forms of the grid technique. There are simplified versions where you only break the paper down into 4 sections. There's the traditional grid technique where you draw lots of squares. And then there's also something that I like to call the triangular grid technique, where you do use a compass and you break the composition down into triangles instead of squares, where you divide the paper from top to bottom, from left to right, and then from corner to corner. So there's lots of different ways that you can arrive at a proportional, accurate drawing, whether it be portraiture or really any subject that you're working on. So yeah, if using a proportional divider helps you, no matter what subject you're working on, whether it's a portrait or anything else, then absolutely use it. If it helps, then by all means use it. Yeah, Keith says, I've tried using a proportional divider, but I've always found it to be a bit too fiddly. Yeah, and I think that if, since I've never used one, isn't it a contraption that basically matches the distance proportionally to what you measure on the reference? So
I suppose. I haven't used one either.
I think that's kind of how it works. Hey, Buddy says, Matt, can you show us how to make a grid out of triangles in a live lesson? Buddy, I'd cover this in the course Portrait Drawing the Smart Way. It's one of the last modules in the course, but I do already have a series of videos on that. I'm sure we can do it in a live lesson. I don't really make it a practice to use the triangular grid. If I'm going to use the grid technique, I typically use the traditional grid technique or the simplified version. I don't really use the triangular grid technique that often in my own artworks, but I do teach it in the course Portrait Drawing the Smart Way, which, Buddy, I know you're a member already and you have access to that. So if you want to learn more about the triangular grid technique, you can check that out. In fact, I'm going to look up right now and tell you what specific module it is in the course so you can go right to it. Just give me just a second here.
All right. And I'm just bouncing around looking for darker values still. And we'll keep working my way towards the light in this case. Really thinking about how the light wraps around this man's cheekbone. That's what attracted me to the picture in the first place, was how distinct the light changed from the front of his face to the side of his face.
All right, Buddy. Buddy says, thanks, Matt. That's the one I still haven't tried out. So much stuff in the program. Thanks. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff. I know it can be overwhelming. The lessons you're looking for are lessons 16, 17, and 18 in the course Portrait Drawing the Smart Way. So that's 16, 17, and 18 in Portrait Drawing the Smart Way. And I use the triangular grid technique in that, and I also use a compass. So that particular grid does require a fiddly instrument, that compass. And Tommy is wondering what fiddly means. Fiddly means that you have to mess with stuff.
Mess around with.
You basically have to take out another tool. You can't just relax with the pencil or whatever medium you're using. So you are just 20 minutes into the drawing, not even halfway.
Awesome.
And got a lot of information there. Now, are you planning on using a blending stump, or
I don't know.
Just going to kind of keep it?
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get a lot down early to hopefully have a chance to go back and make some refinements with my eraser.
Talon, I hope I'm saying your name right, says, I'd like to sign up for the free videos. If you do want to sign up for the free course videos, there's a link in the description below this video. You can check it out. I think, I have 3 free course videos and ebooks, but you really get 4. And then I'll give you a bunch of free lessons on top of that. So, but initially, you'll get those 4 course modules. And it's just so you get an idea of what the courses are like, how they're structured. you can take a look at one of the videos from the course or from one of there are 4 different courses that I give to you for free. The videos from 4 different courses. And there's also ebooks too with those too. So it gives you an idea of what to expect in the courses. And those videos are from older courses too. So, but there's a link in the description below to check that out. Buddy says, Ashley is so fantastic with these figure drawings. Definitely.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, always loved portraiture. Not as well respected as genre as some of the others through history, like history painting. But all the history painters were good portrait artists too.
Lord Engine points out right now he looks younger than he is, and there's a very good reason for that. And that's because there aren't any wrinkles.
Right, we're missing all these wrinkles.
Yeah, there's a lot of texture missing there.
We'll have to age him up a little bit.
So he's going to grow up before your eyes.
Yeah. We'll add it in, let's see, in 23 minutes, we'll try to add 23 more years. We'll see. All right, let's get some value around the forehead. Just bumping that in a little bit. Pretty light right over his brow bones. Got some directional changes to my shading, but it's a little scribbly tonight, and it's by intention.
Terry, that's
a little rough.
Terry makes a good suggestion to Talon. Why don't you pop up into the community at the Virtual Instructor? You don't need to be a member to be there, but most of us are members. That's very true. There is a free forum over at thevirtualinstructor.com, and anybody can participate there. And it is a wonderful community of supportive artists who are basically just help each other out. And you can ask questions there, and people from the community always answer. You can share your artwork there, and all of that is absolutely free. So yeah, you should check that out too. That's a good suggestion there, Terry.
All right. Do some shading in our nose at some point, so I guess now's as good a time as any.
Andrea says, I use the traditional grid technique, but my hand still goes where it wants. It's so frustrating sometimes. Yeah, the grid technique is not like, it's not just automatically you get a great drawing.
Yeah, we're still having to draw from observation.
You still are drawing from observation. It's just basically like if you're creating a piece of artwork, if we can compare it to eating a pizza, you know, you don't want to sit down and eat the entire pizza with one bite. That's why it's cut up into pieces. And the grid technique is basically taking your artwork and just breaking it down into small, digestible pieces. And another thing it does is when you're concentrating on what's in each square instead of the big picture, then you're more likely to draw what you actually see instead of what you think you see. So the grid technique helps with both of those. And if your hand is a little bit wobbly, that's okay. My hand is very wobbly. I make little wobbly lines all the time, and that adds character to your drawing or painting. So don't let that bother you if your hand goes where it wants to. My hand goes where it wants to too.
Yeah, my hand's pretty shaky tonight.
Okay, Brenda wants to give us a shout out. She says, I want to give you guys a shout out because your YouTube videos are great and I have learned so much from them. I've watched a lot of them, still watching. That's awesome,
right.
Brenda.
Yeah,
thanks.
thank
Thanks for that. And thanks for your wonderful comment. And thanks for being with us tonight.
This man's face is quite weathered.
All right, Enrique says, what happened in these classes after the 45-minute sketches? Do you explain specific subjects to members? How long are these classes? I think you're asking about the live lessons that, Gettin Sketchy here is what you're watching right now is a very loose program. We complete the drawing inside of 45 minutes, as you can see, and the drawings are loose and they still have an unfinished quality about them. For the live lessons, we create a piece of art from start to finish. These are not sketchy. These are completed drawings and paintings. We use lots of different media. And this is in addition to the courses that we offer at the site too. So the live lessons are really what most people would consider to be courses. The courses that we have are a little bit more in depth, and they cover multiple drawings and paintings, and also have ebooks to go along with them. So probably should call the live lessons courses, but they're not. They're live lessons, and they're really what most people consider to be courses. But the live lessons are shot in real time, and they're not edited. So you can go back and watch any of the live lessons we've ever done, like you're watching it live. But so there, I hope that explains it. We do an hour each week, and we cap the lesson series to 10 lessons. So once we're at 10 lessons, whoop, there's the top of my head there. Once we're at 10 lessons, we switch over. I was trying to go to this shot, but it's blurry.
Oh, no.
Because of Ashley's shoulder. That's okay. We'll go back here.
Is it focusing on my shoulder?
Well, Ashley's head had crept in for a second, and then it came back. Anyway, sorry, I pushed the wrong buttons again.
Bad habit again.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Anyway, so the series we're working on right now is a line and wash. This is just to give you an example. That's pen and ink and watercolor, and the image is relatively large. I can't remember the exact dimensions, but I think it's like 12 by 14 or something like that. And we've been working on this for 9 lessons. So we've worked on this image for 9 hours, and we're going to finish this series tonight. So it'll probably be at least an hour, maybe longer. And that is, that gives you a good idea of the live lesson. So here on Gettin Sketchy, 45 minutes for one drawing. For the live lessons in our current series, 10 hours. So,
live and sometimes homework.
Right, and sometimes homework. Sometimes the drawings and paintings take longer than 10 hours. So we have a little bit of homework in between sometimes too. So that should give you an idea of the difference in quality of the artwork that we produce here on Get Sketchy and the live lessons. So hopefully that explains it.
All right, just going ahead and getting rid of unnecessary white space now, so we can see how the light's going to start working in our drawing.
Okay, Brazen Harden
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, the timer says 43 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I've got lots of time.
I messed it up.
Where were we at? Where do you think?
I bet you I can find out.
Okay.
Maybe.
Something happened.
No, I messed it up.
I usually try not to look at the timer, but I felt compelled.
What we're going to do is we're going to say Ashley has, let's see.
What is the clock? Okay, the clock says 7:09.
Ashley has 20 minutes left.
Okay. I've got till 7:30.
Oh, gosh.
Right, that sounds good.
I have messed everything up tonight.
Matt.
Let's see if I can fix this stupid timer here. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I can fix the timer. I have no idea what happened. I know. No, I don't.
I don't know if that's happened before.
Yeah, I still don't know what happened. But I'm sure it has something to do. I know what happened. I pushed the wrong button and it messed everything up. Okay. I switched to the wrong camera angle. Okay. So we're going to say there's 20 minutes left, and I'll keep you updated on the time.
Hey, our man is aging. He's slowly.
Yeah, this has never happened. I've never messed up the timer, but there's a first time for everything. Let's see. Now I got to figure out how to set a timer on my phone here. You don't have to tell me. I will figure it out.
I use the timer on my phone a lot.
All right, you're now down to 19 minutes.
That's how I cook. Set the timer
All right.
and come back to a overboiled water.
I will
Water on the
give
stove.
you 5-minute updates. Right now you have 18 minutes left.
All right, this sounds good.
All right. Now to go back to Brazen Hearted's comment. This is Brazen Hearted. This is your fault. Says, Matt, say that again. You are more likely to draw what you see, not what you think you see. The hard part of learning to draw in any medium in one sentence. Okay, what I meant by that is when you are doing the grid, I was talking about that with the grid technique. When you look at this man, for example, and you see he has a nose, your brain might be saying, I need to draw a nose. I need to draw a nose. So what happens is you draw what you think a nose should look like.
Like your memory of a nose.
Right.
A nose you may have drawn before. Your own nose.
Right.
I ran into that problem for a while. Everybody got my nose.
But instead, if you zoom in really close to, and for example, let's say you have a grid square right over the edge of the nose. Instead of thinking you're drawing a nose, you're going to be thinking about that gradation or that slow change in value from dark to light, and the actual line, the actual edge that is there in the reference, instead of thinking that you're drawing a nose. So it basically will force your brain to see everything in a more abstract way, which is the way we actually see things anyway. And that will result in a more representational drawing. So I hope that explains it. I hope that was explained well. All right, let's see. I'm got to get caught. Did the timer start over? No, I messed up the timer. And yeah, I know.
It did start over.
I mess something up every episode. I really need to get somebody in here to just run everything.
Somebody to blame.
Yeah, I need somebody to blame. All right.
Darkening some shadows.
I think I'm caught up with everything there.
And quite a bit darker.
And of course, Jan finds a nose emoji. I don't know where you guys find this stuff. So getting back to the drawing, he has aged quite a bit.
Yeah. Threw in some hard lines, and some of these dark wrinkles have little tiny light edges next to them. So my drawing's pretty small, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to get down to that granular level of detail, but I'd like to. So just working in smaller and smaller marks, smaller and smaller parts. Mush some of this darkness together over here. Bring that eyebrow and shadows together. And it's okay if we overshade a little bit. I don't know that I am, but it's okay if we do, because we can try to pull some of our light back out with our eraser.
Okay, you have 15 minutes left.
All right. I think we'll do that. I think I'll just shade over these very light areas, and then work in there with our eraser a little bit more. Maybe some of those smudge marks will contribute to character in our face. I'm just going to go over the nose and everything. And we'll pull some of those values back. That's our plan.
All right, so I have decided that because this timer, I have set up this timer and programmed it. So there's not an easy way for me to change it right now. But I am seeing here, thanks to the internet, that there are other ways to do this. So I think I will do that differently in the future. And maybe we'll never have this timer problem again. But this is the first time we've ever had the timer. But of course, that's now all that I can think about. But Keith is thinking about those eyes. He says those eyes are very intense. They are intense.
This man knows something.
I hope so.
He knows something we don't know.
Well, that's probably true, too.
That's definitely true. All right, we'll glaze over the ear a little bit. This is a pretty dark shape, and I don't know if my hat's coming down far enough over here. We'll pull it down just a few pencil widths and redefine that shadow in the ear.
Buddy asked, what's the opposite of nice and sharp in English? I would say the opposite of nice is mean, and the opposite of sharp is dull. Now use that in a sentence. Oh, Dale says fuzzy, blurry, or indistinct. Indistinct.
Yeah, those are good.
Button mishaps are part of the charm of Gettin Sketchy. Yes, and also part of the amateur nature of it as well.
Yeah, I think they bother Matt more than anybody, but I enjoy it.
They really bother me, guys. When I make a mistake, it really bothers me. But it really only bothers me for a second, to be honest with you. It's okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
Brenda says, Ashley looks very intuitive. Can you go ahead and put the dark shading on his eyelids? That's supposed to be inquisitive, not intuitive.
Yeah. He does
looks
have some
inquisitive.
white spots up there, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yes, we'll have to get to that.
He does look inquisitive. I think that's a good description.
All right.
You still have 11 minutes. You know what? I think you're ending up with like 55 minutes for this.
You think so? I feel like I've been drawing for an hour.
I think so.
I might have a little bonus time tonight. I'm not going to complain about it. Usually it feels like we don't have enough time. So,
well, when I completely destroy the timer,
that helps.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I paid Matt to do that. I said, Matt, I need more time. Make a mistake. He said, I got you.
Oh,
I'm going to do the button thing. All right, now there's eyelashes up here that are so dark they just mush in with the eye, and a little shading across there. Still want to leave a highlight on that top eyelid. Can't drop that entirely. Maybe a bit darker under the eyebrow. We're about to lose our eyebrow, so by the way, I'm mostly working with the 4B pencil right now. It is so soft, feels so good, but sometimes my marks are a little strong, so it feels good. Even if we get a little dark on the cheek, we'll pull it back. Just putting a few texture marks in there. You know, it's got this stubbly beard that we just really can't attack tonight and in our little time limit that we've created for ourselves. And I'm glad of that, because boy, is that challenging.
9 minutes, 49 seconds.
I'd rather have paint for that.
Charles says it's crazy how much the sketch looks like the reference. Great sketch.
Oh, thank you. Get as much as we can in the 55 minutes that Matt's given me tonight.
Yeah.
Pretty dark. The far side of the top lip, and then very dark here in the corner on the right of the top lip. Go. So I like to draw this way. It's a little bit scribbly and, you know, a little messy. Just a lot of jumping around, skipping around. And I feel like the drawing develops evenly. That's what kind of my goal is when I draw this way, is if one area starts to look pretty good, get away from it and go to an area that looks less developed. Just keep coming around and coming back, revisiting areas over and over.
Look at that.
How, is that the
Timer's
original
back.
timer? Oh no.
It's back.
Oh no.
I fixed it.
I didn't want to see that again. Oh, it's back.
Now we have some drama. But you know what? Drama is not necessary here because you're almost completed with the drawing.
Yeah, that's
almost
true.
completed.
I'm feeling
It.
pretty good about how far we've gotten into it tonight.
And that timer is correct as well.
Now let's see. Break out our eraser a little bit.
And in focus, too.
Keep my head out of the way. Let's see. Checking my pencils. I'll keep the 4B is getting very dull.
Buddy has reminded you, don't forget to like if you like. And then Brazen Hearted says, what Buddy means is smash that thumbs up
That's
button
right.
if you like this show, even if you do not. Ha 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 ha.
Smash it.
Where did that smash that like button come from?
I don't know.
I wonder how many people actually smashed their computer screens trying to push that button. I'm sure there's somebody out there. Jan says, wow, timer miracle. Yeah, it is a miracle. Charles says, this is the best comedy on YouTube. Yeah.
This is supposed to be a serious program.
It's definitely not supposed to be serious. We are more serious on the live lessons, but we are still pretty jovial and laid back there as well.
Yeah, the conversation still goes off the rails sometimes, and we don't mean it to. So depend on our folks to help us stay on track over there.
Jan says, all
their
Matt's
questions.
buttons suddenly line up right. Don't speak too soon. The show's not over. Arlie Elliott says, looking really good, Ashley.
Thank you.
Would have taken me hours. Thanks for sharing with us.
Well, I'm a big proponent of timed drawings, and particularly with portraiture. And so we do this sometimes in my classrooms, and I always do a demo for my students just to try to dispel them of any notions that they're going to get a super polished drawing in a short period of time. And we actually try to do 25-minute sketches. So we can't even get this far. We're just really looking to figure out how to separate the light from the dark in that amount of time. And the intention is to improve our efficiency. So we focus on those more important aspects of form early in a drawing, and try to learn to ignore some of the texture, the wrinkles, the stray hairs and things like that reach out and grab our attention.
The graphite doesn't look that shiny.
I wonder if it's because I've been trying to use the 4B before I start to press down hard with the HB. I'm just trying not to use much pressure and lose the tooth of the paper. Yeah,
it's working.
Trying to not flatten it out. So usually I don't use a 4B here. I'll stick with 2Bs as my darkest pencil sometimes, or an ebony. But I brought the 4B tonight, and it feels good. I love how soft it is. And you're right, it's just a little bit less shine, a little less graphite shine.
I rarely go darker than a 4B.
Yeah. I don't see much reason to, unless you just don't like any pressure at all. But I can't work light enough with some of those other pencils.
Hey, Tommy says, just checking out the most watched video on this channel. It's a surprise. Matt, any idea why this one is so popular? Tommy, I don't even know what the most popular video is. I don't really think about the numbers on the videos too much. I just try to make stuff that I think people would want to watch and can learn from, and that's really the only algorithm that I'm concerned about. But maybe you can enlighten me.
Yeah.
Which one
what is it?
is the most popular? I don't know what it is. I know that there are several videos that have more than 1 million views, but I don't know really which one it is, which ones they are. Well, let's see. They're talking about using a hammer for fixing a computer here. Jan says the texture on this drawing is amazing.
Thank you, Jan.
And Nancy says it's amazing how it came together so quickly. Angela said this turned out amazing. You both are so talented. Great work as always. And, thank you for those comments, guys. But I want to say that talent is learned. I know that people are not going to like that comment, but I don't care. I have taught for so many years, and I have taught myself certain skills, and I have seen other people learn skills. And you can really develop a talent for anything that you want, as long as you are passionate enough to learn and practice. And those are the two keys: learning and practicing. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it is something that can be learned.
Yeah, it's a year's kind of a pursuit.
Right. There are prodigies. There are people that are born with the ability to learn certain skills quickly.
That's true.
But it's something that we all can achieve. We can all learn and practice and get better at whatever skill that is.
Okay. Oh, I still got 1 minute and 47 seconds. All right, let's see. What's the biggest difference, folks? This is what I like to play. I know there's tons of differences, but what's the biggest difference? And I'm going to say, actually, it's probably in the clothes. I'm just not very dark in there. And that's going to affect our light.
Okay, Jan says, the drawing exercise that changed my life at 5.2 million views. Okay, well, thanks for that, Jan. And the reason why that video has so many views, I can tell you right now, is because of its title.
I was going to say
thumbnail.
Clickbait.
Yeah. But it's really true that the drawing exercise that I share in that video is the drawing exercise that made me realize that I could learn to draw and paint, and that I could learn to draw and paint well. And that drawing exercise has not only changed my life, because it did change my life, it changed the direction of my life, but it has also impacted countless other people as well. Yeah. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch that video, because that drawing exercise will, if you do the drawing exercise and you're feeling like you can't draw, if you do that exercise, you will shock yourself and you will see that you actually can draw. And it's a very simple exercise. But yeah, it's the title of that video. When you have a video that has some kind of curiosity involved with it, or this is terrible, but something negative in it, people are going to watch that because the algorithm likes that.
Like 5 reasons I hate my new car.
Right,
that
exactly.
Kind of
or the worst thing about this, or whatever. Those videos are going to do really well just because of the curiosity aspect that's involved in it. So let's see. Michael says Ashley is amazing with graphite, but he can also sew this with oil paint with no transfer image.
Paint it with oil paint? Sure. In fact, I'm planning to do an oil study on Gettin Sketchy.
What?
I'm thinking about it.
That means I'm going to have to do watercolor or acrylics or something.
I'm planning on it. No promises, but it's something I've been thinking about. Charles says, I give the sketch 6 stars out of 5. Ashley, it's great. Whoa. Very impressive. Whoa, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Does this look like Billy Bob Thornton? Did I draw a picture of Billy Bob Thornton accidentally? I feel like it. I like that drawing. Yeah. That's a nice drawing. Put some mustard on this drawing. It's done. All right. What did he say in that movie? Something about mustard and biscuits. That was he said a bunch of things, but didn't he say something? Wasn't that movie Sling Blade? Yeah, Sling Blade. It was very quotable.
I like the way you talk. That's what it was. I like the way you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
let's see.
No, I'm probably putting my head in the screen. I just gotta. Can't
Now,
tell.
I gave you
There's a
extra
shiny
time.
spot
What
here.
are you doing?
Okay. I'm sorry. This is the point that I love a portrait, where we're start to look at tiny, tiny changes to be made.
I like the
And
way.
now we've got to stop.
I like the way.
We're just getting into the good parts.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do a live lesson portrait sometime too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it. I'm stopping.
I like the way you draw. All right. So that one
now
is complete. Are you going
stopping.
to take the tape off or leave it on there? Right?
Yeah, I guess we
It's up to you.
we
I think.
can. I got a lot of
See
tape
the
over here.
contrast. It always looks better with the,
That's
the
true. And
borders.
since I did go edge to edge, so we've got time for that.
Jan says, "What an amazing drawing! Great work, Ashley." Heart emoji.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. They're motivating. They push us to keep trying to better our own skills. All right. Tail of the tape.
Brenda says, Matt, I've seen videos on YouTube and the artist calls them virtual instructors. They use that in the title of their videos. Could they be past students of yours and Ashley? I have no idea. I haven't seen that, but if you want to pass that along to me, that would be great. They could be. I don't know. But I started the Virtual Instructor in 2009. So I guess if you're teaching someone online, I guess you are a virtual instructor, but that's...
Yeah. You
all I
started
came up with the
that.
name.
You started that. You got that URL when that type of language was really just starting to hit mainstream. I guess.
No, it really was. In
It wasn't
2009?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, that was before YouTube even had a partnership program.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, how many years was that? Was that 25 years ago?
15.
15 years ago.
25.
As you can see, I'm
15.
excellent at math as well.
Here's my pencil case.
Art is more important than math. Where did you get that from, Dr. Findice?
No, but I'd like to show it to him. I got a present for you. So now, having said, pencil case is funny and all. I like math. I was a good math student. It was one of my favorite classes. So I just think it's a funny pencil case.
I hated math. I did well in school, but I did not enjoy math. Although I like it more now that I'm older. Isn't that weird?
It becomes more useful. Some
Yeah.
of it, some types of math become
Right.
more useful. So
Right.
yeah.
Matt will pass it off to his lawyer. No, I absolutely won't do that. But if somebody is out there trying to tell other people that they are associated with the website, that is something that I don't want to happen. But
Something you might need to know about.
yeah, and I come across that quite often where people have stolen content and are distributing it, unfortunately. But we don't have time for that silly stuff. We're focusing on the wonderful things in the world. Dale says, I took 16 college semesters of math. Dale,
Wow.
what are you doing? 16 semesters? That's all 4 years you took math.
Yeah, that's
I did that math
2 per semester.
every semester.
Yeah.
Every
Wow.
semester all year long. Let's see. All right, that looks great without the tape. Looks
Thank you,
good.
Matt.
There's some shuffling going on over
keep
here.
touching.
Oh, is that my eraser?
Yes.
Is it working?
Yes, I pulled Matt's electric eraser out to make a little white dot.
I'm
Get me away from this drawing.
I'm glad
table.
it worked. All right. Excellent job there, Ashley.
Thank you.
It looks great. So I think we're 2 for 2 this season. I think
So
both
far,
drawings are good.
it's looking good.
All right, let's switch out over here. All right, another crazy evening is really halfway under our belt because we got to do the live lesson next. And I'm sure things will be crazy there too. But thanks for your patience on the timer, Miss Q. And I think Ashley did a wonderful job tonight. And just another reminder, since next week is going to be Thanksgiving, it's actually next Thursday, but we'll be gone next Wednesday. So the next episode of Gettin Sketchy will be December 4th. at the same time. That will be the third drawing of the season, and I'll be doing that. And I am kind of divided between ink wash and watercolor and another medium. So it'll be one of those three mediums.
And a surprise medium.
And a surprise medium. But ink wash, watercolor, or a surprise medium. So we'll see. I have no idea what the subject's going to be, but we'll get around to that as we get closer to the time. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think that's it. All right. Ashley, you have anything else to say to?
Am I in the frame?
You're perfect.
Okay,
You're perfect.
Good. I dropped the hydraulics before we switch back over. So we're gonna miss you guys next week. It's gonna be 2 weeks when, like Matt said, we're gonna be celebrating Thanksgiving. I know we're not all Americans, but we can all be thankful for something. So spend the next week thinking about things that you're thankful for in your life that you may not deserve. And I've got a lot of those. So you guys are one of them.
Absolutely. Well said. And we will see you on December 4th. And for the rest of you who are members, we'll see you hopefully in just a few minutes for the live lesson. And we'll do some shuffling and get ready for that. Guys, thanks again for watching. If you like the video, make sure you give it a like. Leave a comment below if you're watching the recorded version. Tell us what you think. And we will see you when we do this again on December 4th. Good night, everybody.